Before we get started into this discussion, we are going to talk about worker cooperatives, or more specifically, worker self-directed enterprises. Let's watch a video with Professor Richard Wolff.
This is Richard Wolff with another Econo Minute. I want to talk to you briefly about economics, democracy, and the way we do business. I want to make a simple point. If you believe in democracy, as I suspect most of us do, then you know it means basically that if you are affected by a decision, you have the right to participate in it. You know, that's the idea about our political system. Since we are affected by the decisions made by mayors and senators and governors and presidents, well, we participate in their decisions by having the authority to hire and fire them, to vote for them, or to vote against them. At least we have some participation in the decisions. But it is not that way in capitalist enterprises. In those, here's the typical story. A tiny group of people at the top, the owner, the management that the owner chooses, or in a modern corporation, the major shareholders, usually a dozen or so institutions or people who decide who is on the board of directors. That's usually 15 or 20 people, and they make all the key decisions. They decide what to produce, how and where, and what to do with the products of the labor of all the people. And what about all the people who work in an enterprise? They have no participation at all. They are excluded from deciding what to produce, how to produce, where to produce, and what to do with the profits and the net revenue. That's not a democratic system. But there is a democratic way of organizing an economy, and it's not capitalism. It's called worker cooperatives, and it's an old idea whose time has come. Here's how it works. All the people who work in an enterprise, all of them, one person, one vote. They make the decisions democratically. What to produce, how to produce, where to produce, and what to do with the profits that, after all, they've all helped to produce. It would change our economic system. It would democratize not just the enterprises, but the system as a whole. It's long overdue. It's what democracy means when you bring it to the economy, which we should have done long ago. This is Richard Wolff for Econo Minute.
If you choose to have stocks, then you also have one stock per vote, right? That's not necessarily what you find in corporate environments, believe me, I know. So there's also no external investors or managers. Everything is done. The most important decisions, particularly, if not all of them, are made by everybody within the organization. You can hire and fire who you want. You decide again democratically. What happens with the surpluses and the losses, again, democratically. So you decide whether or not to keep operations in the community. And it's always people before profits, which Professor Wolff has talked about. Consumer cooperatives are owned and controlled by people who buy goods and services. Here in North Pasadena, there was a food co-op store. It's no longer open, sadly. It was a nice little place, but you had to be a member to go in there and buy the food, the organic food that came from more local growers. There's also REI, which is a recreational company. Now there's producer, agricultural, and marketing cooperatives. And I know, Lisabeth, you kind of put the agricultural and the marketing together. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, you take an organization like Sunkist. There's, I believe it's 49 producers. They each own their own farm, but they come together under the name of Sunkist to market their product. So yes, they are producing agricultural produce, but they come together as a cooperative to market their product.
So the California cheese companies like that too? Or
Yeah,
the
it's
companies?
marketing.
Yeah.
cooperative. And the other types of cooperatives, there's many cooperatively owned businesses, but only worker cooperatives solve the labor problems, because only worker cooperatives are the ones that, actually the workers are democratically in control. So you take even Co-Opportunity Market in Santa Monica, it's a wonderful market and they do very good things, but the people that work there are not the members. It's the consumers that buy there that are the members of the cooperative. So you can have just as many labor problems with cooperative businesses if it's not a worker cooperative as any business.
That's very true.